Hello students, today we will read third lesson of the literature book First Flight, that is two stories about flying. In this chapter there are two lessons given. One is his first flight and second one is black aeroplane. In this video we will read only first part, that is his first flight, that is written by Liam O'Flaherty. Now if we talk about the writer, Liam O'Flaherty was an Irish novelist and short story writer. He was born on 28 August 1896 and died in 1984. He was born in a remote village of Gotnag Capel in Galloway. In 1908, he went to Rockwell College. He became a popular literary figure with his best selling novel, The Informer. The next novel, Return of the Brute, was also a great success. O'Flaherty will be remembered as a major voice in the Irish literary renaissance. Now, what is this story about? His first flight. You know, it is the story of hesitation, trial, and error, and finally getting success in the end. It is the success mantra that you first hesitate to do something, then you try, you create some error, you repeat it, repeat, and ultimately you get success. It is an interesting story of a hesitant and timid seagull learning the art of flying. While his two brothers and sister had already learned flying, his fear and hesitation stopped him from doing so. His diving at the fish due to hunger proved a blessing in disguise. After a shaky start, he spread out his wings and started flying upwards and downwards. It was his first flight, and as the name indicates, his first flight. The author gives a message that no one attains success instantly. Repeated trials and errors lead to success. So now let's read what happens to that seagull and how he achieves success. Now, this is the story part. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. It's a very simple story. The ledge word is there. Ledge is a narrow horizontal shelf projecting a वॉल है और क्लिफ चट्टान, जैसे कि एक चट्टान के किनारे पे एक शेल्फ की तरह से वो बनी हुई थी. एंड ही वॉज सिटिंग देयर, द बर्ड फैमिली वॉज देयर, हिज ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर ऑलरेडी फ्लोन अवे. Okay, somehow when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Now, when he just tried, he reached to the brink of the ledge. Brink is edge of the ledge, and attempted to flap his wing. जैसे वो अपने पंख फैलाने की कोशिश करता था, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, और what he saw that it was a huge stretch, big stretch of sea beneath. तो इतने बड़े sea को देख के वो डर जाता था कि he would not be able to fly, and it was such a long way down, miles down, कि उसको बहुत miles down उसको ये सब नीचे गिर जाएगा. And he felt certain that his wings would never support him, और उसको ये लगता था कि उसके सब wings उसको कभी support नहीं करेंगे. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. And he ultimately went back and slept in the ledge, in a hole on the ledge. When each of the brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. And his brothers and sister, they were even younger than him, but they were having smaller wings, but they flew away. And this made him, and he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. And he was not able to take that plunge. Now he could not take that plunges to take that risk, कि वो रिस्क लेना ही नहीं चाहता था. He could not gather up courage to fly. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. और वो उसको डांट रहे थे, जोर जोर से चिल्ला रहे थे. They were scolding him, threatening him to let him starve, कि he will have to, they would not give him food, and he would have to live alone on this ledge. But for the life of him he could not move. But what he thought, कि if he would fly he would die, and he did not want to take attempt in that. That was 24 hours ago. 24 hours had passed, and parents, his brother, sister, all were encouraging him, all were scolding him to do the things. But he was not able to fly. Since then, nobody had come near him. That threatening and scolding, shrilling, that was 24 hours ago. उसके बाद से कोई उसके पास नहीं आया. All had decided that nobody would go near to him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight. Last day, his brothers and sister, they were flying. Their parents were training them to how they could perfect their skimming and how they can dive for fish, because seagull, what it does, it just pick fish from the sea, and it is his food. So he had in fact seen his older brothers catch his first herring and devour it. And what he had seen, he has seen his older brother how he was catching a soft fish and how he was enjoying it, standing on a rock. And while his parents circle around, raising a proud cackle, and his parents were proud of him. But they were ashamed of this young seagull because it was not able to fly, and they were scolding him. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his covered eyes. And all the morning, सुबह से वो लोग उसके ऊपर चिल्ला रहे थे. They were asking him, they were sitting on the opposite plateau. They were not on the same ledge, but they were sitting on the opposite plateau, and they were just taunting him for his covered eyes. Now, the day was ascending, the sun was ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south, and it was giving him scorching heat was there on that ledge, and he felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall, or last night से उसने कुछ खाया भी नहीं था. He was feeling so hungry and also feeling the heat. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye then the other. And he came on the brink of the ledge, किनारे पे आया, and he just put standing on one leg, hidden under the other one, and then the other. And what he was trying to do, and he was pretending to be falling asleep, कि वो जैसे सो रहा है, वो pretend कर रहा था. उसको लग रहा था कि he would do the things, so his parents would come and they would give him some food. But still they took no notice of him. किसी ने उसकी तरफ ध्यान नहीं दिया. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So he saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the with this his brothers and sisters still lying on the plateau. They were on the plateau, and they had covered their heads into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. He was pressing his feathers. Okay, only his mother was looking at him. He thought कि his mother was sympathetic to him. She would definitely give him some food. So she was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. वो थोड़ा ऊपर थी, वो सब नीचे की तरफ थे, and she was on the high plateau. And now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet, and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. So she was having a piece of fish in her mouth, and she just tore the fish with her beak and just rubbed the beak on the rock. This sight of the food maddened him. वो पागल हो गया उस food को देख के. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. और वो उसको लग रहा था कि he just wanted to do all that. वो भी ऐसे ही खाना चाहता था, and he just wanted to rub his beak on the rock to wet it, sharpen it. सो गा 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 ही क्राइड begging her to bring him some food. वो चिल्ला रहा है जोर जोर से कि उसको भी खाना चाहिए, give him food. And screamed back, गाओ गाओ. She screamed back derisively. She did not want to, that he is a stupid, and she did not want to give him food. She just ignored him. But he kept calling plentifully. But he very sadly, he just kept on calling. And after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. और उसकी जोर से चिल्लाने लगा, because what he was noticing that his mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. और उसको लगा कि मदर उसके पास आ रही है. She was coming and she was having a piece of fish in her mouth. So what she thought, now she would definitely give him food. He leaned out eagerly. वो बिल्कुल सामने की तरफ झुक गया और उसको लगा कि नाउ द फूड इज कमिंग, टैपिंग द रॉक विद हिज फीट, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. And he was just tapping his feet and he was very happy that he would get the food. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted. लेकिन जैसे ही वो उसके अपोजिट पहुंची, बिल्कुल पास में पहुंच गई, but she stopped. Her wings motionless, and she stopped at all completely. The piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. वो बिल्कुल उसकी बीक के पास पहुंच गई, बट थोड़ा सा दूर रह गया और she stopped. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer. और उसको हैरानी हो रही है कि वो मेरे पास में क्यों नहीं आ रही है. Why he is not getting the food. Maddened by the hunger, he dived at the fish. और उसने एकदम से उसके ऊपर snatch किया उसको fish को. And with a loud scream, he fell outward and downward into space. और जैसे ही उसने वो डाइव किया, जैसे उसने स्नैच करने की कोशिश किया, एंड ही फेल डाउन, एंड ही फेल डाउन आउटवर्ड एंड डाउनवर्ड. वो लेज से नीचे गिर गया और नीचे की तरफ चला गया. देन ए मॉन्स्टर्स टेरर सीज्ड हिम. और उसको एकदम से वो पूरी तरह से डर गया. एंड हिज हार्ट स्टूड स्टिल, एंड ही हिज हार्ट सैंक. वो डर गया पूरी तरह से, एज इफ हिज हार्ट हैड स्टॉप्ड वर्किंग. ही कुड हियर नथिंग. कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. बट इट ओनली लास्टेड अ मिनट. लेकिन वो सब कुछ टाइम के लिए था. द नेक्स्ट मोमेंट ही फेल्ट हिज विंग्स स्प्रेड आउटवर्ड. और अगले ही मिनट क्या हुआ कि उसके विंग्स, ही कुड स्प्रेड हिज विंग्स. The wind rushed against his breast feather, then under his stomach and against his wing, as if the practice of flying. So the wind that just touched his breast and under his stomach and against the wings. So he could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. और उसको लग रहा था कि now he could easily get through the air. He was not falling headlong now, and he was not falling down. Now he was very happy that he was able to fly in the air. Next one, it is given, he was soaring gradually downward and outward. और वो he was just flying downward, outward. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy, somewhat uncomfortable. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upward. और फिर वो बहुत हाई स्काई में उड़ने लगा. And his mother swooped past him. और मदर भी उसके साथ साथ चल रही हैं. And her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. So all were around him. They were all very happy. They were all leaping like a horse, and banking is flying with one wing higher than the other. And they were doing practice of flying. And this all happened suddenly. Then he completely forget that he had not always been able to fly. और अभी उसको याद भी नहीं था कि वो कभी fly नहीं कर सकता था. And commanded himself, and he just praised himself to dive and soar and curve and shake loudly. And he just shaking shrilly, चिल्ला रहा है जोर जोर से. He is full of excitement, and he is able to dive and he is able to soar. वो नीचे sea में भी जा सकता है. He can soar high, he can fly high, he can curve. So this is all he can do now. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. So now he was quite near to the sea, flying straight over it. ऊपर उड़ रहा है पूरी अच्छी तरह से, facing straight out on the over the ocean. और वो बिल्कुल अब sea के ऊपर आ गया है, and he can tap his feet on the sea water. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. And now he was very happy. He was doing all that, and cawed is what? He is making a cracking sound. And amusedly, in a very amusement way, is a very happy way, he was turning his beak sideways. His parents and his brothers and sisters had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. और उसके parents, उसके brother, sister, all had landed on the sea. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. They were calling him. They were beckoning him. So he was there now, and they were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea, and he just put his legs on the green sea. His legs sank into it, और वो उसकी legs जो है they were in the water. He screamed with fright. थोड़ा सा वो डरा, फिर attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. थोड़ा उसने फिर अपने wings को flap किया, and he was able to manage his balance on the sea water. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise. But वो ज़्यादा नहीं उड़ पा रहा था because he was tired, he was exhausted, and by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it, and he sank no further. और फिर वो अपना बैलेंस बना पाया सी वाटर के ऊपर. his belly touched the water, but वो अभी डूब नहीं रहा है कहीं भी. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scrap of dogfish. और अब उसको वो सब खाना ऑफर कर रहे हैं कि he should take the food, and he had made his first flight. So this was his maiden flight, first flight, and he could overcome his fear, he could fly, and ultimately he was successful in what he wanted to do. And his mother, she was so clever at doing the things, and she knew it, although she was a bird, but she knew that if you give somebody a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to catch fish, you feed him for the life. So now she knew the importance of independence. How much, for how many days they could feed him, how he would survive without flying, and that's why they wanted him to fly, and he could get his own food himself. So this was what many times we children also face the same, that parents, they make their children so dependent on them that they are not able to do the things of their own. Even the small tasks they are doing, they are all dependent on their parents. So this is what that we should teach them. We should ask them, parents should ask their children to do their things on their own, so that they can become independent, they can learn so many things, they can do the trials, failures, and they can become successful. So this is all what the lesson, a great lesson given through this short story. So this is all about the story, and I have already discussed you about the introduction part. And if we talk about the theme of this lesson or the moral of the story, that is all given. If we talk about the theme, there are three things. One is the overcoming fears, that he overcame his fear when he just spread his wings and he left the ledge, he overcame his fear. And second one is about the mother. Be cruel to be kind. Although his family appeared to be cruel to him, but that was not cruelty at all. That if they had shown the sympathy to him, they had given him the food on the ledge, he would have not flown any day. So this is also a great thing, that be cruel to be kind. If you want to show you kindness, sometimes we have to be cruel. And you are more powerful than you know. And one more thing is, seagull, he had the capability of flying high in the sky, but just he was not able to recognize his powers, and he jumps off the ledge in desperation and finds that he can fly. So this is, you are powerful, you can do anything. This is what we should know about our life, because sometimes what we think, that I can't do this thing, I can't do this thing, that should not be in our dictionary. We should always think that what we can do each and everything in this world. So the message is very clear that we must dare and act if we want to succeed in life. One must pave one's own path to success. It does not come served on a platter. It has to be achieved with the power of grit, brain, and muscle. So, this is all about this story, and the next part of this chapter we will do in the next video. Okay, thank you.